Cancers, hello and welcome to your November 2024 Tarot Forecast. I'm Ms. Eden and Cancer family. I'm so happy that you're here. Welcome. This is going to be a general reading for Cancer Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. But know, y'all, that in each of our birth charts, we do have a little bit of Cancer influence, which is fourth house influence. So see where that fourth house does line up for you in your birth chart. All right, fam? Don't sweat it. If you don't catch this video right after I release it, know there's a time and a space for you to receive this message, beautiful Cancer. And whenever you're feeling that tingle, that urge to finally click and watch or listen, that's the time for you to receive this message. And I do hope that there'll be something in this message for you, beautiful, beautiful Cancer. Know that because this is a general reading for the collective, not every single thing is going to hit for each and every one of us. So take what does hit, what does resonate, which I'm sure a word you hear a lot if you catch a lot of readings across the web. What resonates with you, take with you and have it give you some guidance and wisdom, and then leave the rest for others. All right, family? If you do like what you're seeing here and you want to check me out on other socials, I do have an Instagram. That's the only other one I really mess with. So if you'd like to check out my Instagram account, y'all, that link can be found in my bio. And there's all sorts of things that get posted over there that don't always make it to my YouTube here. All right, fam? Thank you all so much for all your comments, all your likes, certainly all your subscriptions. I really love hearing from the family and hearing what's going on in your lives and how these readings hit for you. I know we also have a lot of new subscribers, so any new Cancer family joining us, welcome. I'm so happy all of y'all are here. And y'all, if you are enjoying these readings and my astrology updates, if you're enjoying the work that I'm putting out and you want to help support this channel, the easiest way, the fastest way, and the cheapest way, because it's free, is to interact with this video. So go ahead and like this video if the message hit for y'all. Share with others. And if you haven't subscribed, certainly hit that subscribe button, y'all, and join the family. Leave some comments too, because I really do appreciate and love hearing how these readings hit for you. I know and trust my intuitive guidance, but it certainly doesn't hurt to hear from the family about how these energies are playing out for you in your life. All right, family? So that is the long and short of it. We're going to try a little something new this week, family. We are going to... this month, pardon me. Sometimes I make so many videos, on the daily, on the weekly. But anyway, for this month, we're going to do something new for our reading, which is we are going to incorporate a little bit of an oracle card pull before we get into our tarot reading, along with our astrology review for the highlights of the month of November. So let's get into it. Let's start with our astrology review. Cancers, I am getting to this video a little bit behind schedule. I'm so sorry. This last week had me thrown for a bit of a loop. And so I ideally would have liked to have this posted already, but here we are, right? So some of these dates I'm going to give have already happened, but just thinking back, again, hindsight's 2020, and we can gain a lot of wisdom from that. So the first half of November, the energy is going to be rife for going deep within to transform the ego self. That lower vibrational energy that really holds us back because it's very much concerned with a limited framework of the universe, usually concerned very much more with power and control in the material world, that ego self. So this is an opportunity in the first half of November, which again, we're still in at the time of me filming this video, to really dive deep and explore and learn from those things that are bubbling up, that are maybe a little bit uncomfortable for us. What do we have to learn from these things, y'all, so that we can transform and connect to our higher selves instead? Raise that vibration, right? The second half of November is going to be a little bit faster paced, and that's not to say the first half isn't also going to be fast paced. We are in a big transition shift period, so it's all moving and grooving right now. But whereas the first half of November is a bit more internally focused, The second half of November, that movement is outward focused, okay? So we start seeing a lot more emphasis the second half of November with truths coming to light regarding power structures and dynamics. I'll get more into that in a bit. We're also going to have this big push the whole month, but especially the end of the month, with getting very serious and disciplined about our spiritual practices, development, and routines. Okay, so those are the big themes for November. Starting on the 1st of November, we came into the month with a powerful new moon in Scorpio. New moons are all about fresh starts, new beginnings, new cycles, planting seeds, right, for new things. And with Scorpio energy, they're a water sign that is asking us to dive deep within and transform the inner self. Like a phoenix, burning it down and then rising from the ashes. This is a painful process, but it must happen in order for us to grow. Now, we always have choice, family, and you can choose to not go down that path because it is a very hard path to work through. Don't get it twisted. It is. The work is not easy, but boy, is it worth it, as I will attest to. Okay? And the way that it's become a little bit easier to get with those ebbs and flows, especially in the down moments, is to meet resistance and discomfort with curiosity and asking it, what do I have to learn from you? Because it's coming up for a reason, right? The 2nd of November, Mercury moves into Sagittarius. Mercury is all about communications, ideas, insights, like aha moments, technology, medicine and medical advancement. Mercury and Hermes in mythic tradition of Roman and Greek myth is the messenger god that can transport between the higher angelic realms, the earth plane, and the lower realms. They were the bringers of souls to the underworld after they passed. Now that's different from Chiron, who carried them across the river, right? But Mercury would bring them down, okay? So Mercury is this very fast-moving, powerful, but like we almost minimize Mercury's energy and effect. But really, they are one of the most powerful energies we can work with because just how easily they can transmute between all the different planes of the physical world and the non-physical. All that they bring with their ideas, that mercurial energy to innovation with technology and stepping forward, leaping forward with that, with medicine, with travel, with communication. This is all about broadening our horizons. And with Sagittarius, that fire sign there, it's an extra punch, an extra oomph of like creative fire and insight with it in Mercury. So that's going to be a really lovely time, Mercury and Sagittarius, for all sorts of insights, ideas, maybe the urge to travel around the beginning of November. And then right after that, on the 3rd, family, we had a very bumpy day or days because astrological aspects, it's never a hard like 24 hours, right? It kind of you can feel those effects on either side of these transits. But we had a big day on the 3rd with Mars energy, which Mars is very aggressive, warlike, also oversees the sign of Aries, which is the first sign in the zodiac, very much attached to the number 1, the self, the ego, the masculine, right? So Mars on the 3rd moved into the sign of Leo, another fire sign. Also a big sign about like me, myself, and I, look at me, you know, like I am the sun, but a little bit more like creative rather than aggressive, warlike, like that Mars energy, because Leo is overseen by the sun. So it's very much like bright, shining, you know, like love me and see me and celebrate me. Whereas Mars is just very much like, oh, I've had this idea, I've had this thought, let me just rush forward without a lot of afterthought, and like very aggressive, very warlike, you know, kind of like shoot first, ask questions later. So Mars moved into Leo on the 3rd. Mars was also conjunct Pluto on that day, the planet of power and transformation, the higher octave of Mercury. Okay, thinking about those elements of Mercury, Pluto is like that next, more powerful octave, I'll say, of those mercurial traits. And then Mars also trined the moon. So it was a very emotionally volatile day where we might have been triggered very easily. Think back to the 3rd of November and those days surrounding it. Us here in the US definitely had a tumultuous time around the 3rd because that was right around our US elections. So all about aggression and power, transforming power, warlike energy, really a lot of fire there around the 3rd. And so it was a good time to see all the kind of dark, negative traits, aspects of that Martian energy coming to light. And again, what can we deal with those negative expressions that we can bring better into balance, right, family? Now, coming up on the 11th of November, on 11/11, Venus moves into Capricorn. Venus is the planet of love, sensuality, enjoying all the finer things in life and the tactile pleasures. Venus oversees the 2 signs, actually, Taurus and Libra. With Venus moving into Capricorn, it can bring a lot more structure into the realm of things that we love, things, people, places, right? Are we overindulging in some ways that we need to bring a little bit more structure and tact back into how we're approaching this world of love? Also be very wary because Capricorn and its negative aspects can speak to a little bit of that power play dynamics and manipulation, power, control, right? So we might have some negative expressions with a little bit of like that power and control issues coming up around the 11th within things and people and places, relationships that we love, okay? So it doesn't always have to be a personal relationship with another person, but just with things that we love, Venus, right? The 15th of the month is a big day and followed by the 19th. But on the 15th, we have Saturn, which has been in retrograde, stationing direct in Pisces. Now, this is a big deal because it is in the final degree of Pisces. And yes, in astrology, we have degrees, just like in mathematics with angles and shit. I hate it. It makes me still like, from like middle school math, right? When we talk about degrees and I think about slope and plotting and graphs, don't even, no. So that aside, I digress. Saturn moving direct in Pisces at this final degree in Pisces is very significant. Let me explain why. The final degree in a sign is the 29th degree. That means that's the last degree that the planet is in, the position of the planet in that sign of the zodiac wheel, before it shifts into the next sign. So Saturn is getting ready to shift into Aries. That comes after Pisces. So Pisces is the final sign in the zodiac. So again, we're going to be in the first degree of Aries. We already talked about Aries having those ego, Mars connections and of the self, the first house, the number 1, the masculine, right? Very much a creative source, but it can be very much, if we're not in control, unbalancing that lower ego expression, that lower frequency and energy of ego expression, it's going to bring out more of those aggressive, warlike, controlling, traits. So when we have Saturn moving direct, that is a call for us, family, to get very disciplined about our spirituality. Get structured, get disciplined, put your spiritual practices into just that practice, okay? Little steps, baby steps. If you've been working on that, if that's the right in the vibe that you've been vibing the last few months, great. You're right there where you need to be. If you're like, oh yeah, I've been kind of thinking that and putting that off, now's the time to work on that. Okay, with Saturn moving direct in Pisces. The same day as that Saturn moving direct, we also have a full moon in Taurus. This is our last super moon of the year. The last 3, so this will be the 4th, full moons have been super moons, meaning the moon is much closer to the planet Earth. So we will feel the impacts of this full moon even stronger. Full moons are about wrapping up cycles, endings, culminations, learning from all the things that we've been through in this past cycle so that we're ready to step forward onto a new path. With it in Taurus, an earth sign, This can very much have to do with our connection to our tactile things, money, resources, anything, we can buy and put our hands on, those things we think we need in our life, those physical things, right? Taurus also oversees crops and agriculture, as well as our financial systems. Earth sign, right? So all about those tangible money related things. So we might see some interesting news or developments within our financial areas, within our agricultural and food related news. Also, I need to highlight that we're not at the end, we're kind of at the beginning and continuation of seeing a lot more natural disasters, to put it bluntly. We have Saturn in Pisces at 29 degrees. We also have Neptune in Pisces at 29 degrees. I cannot tell you how. We have Pluto in Capricorn at 29 degrees, okay? We have a lot of big energy planets in the final degree of these signs before they shift. This is huge. This doesn't happen often, where we have all these planet shifting signs in a relatively short period of time. So we are not done seeing the effects of water, floods, storms, landslides. Uranus and Taurus is a very unstable for the earth kind of energy, because Uranus is a ground shaking bringer of sudden and swift change. So we could see, right, like landslides pairing with that water element, as we did here in North Carolina at the end of September with Hurricane Helene. Also, we're not done with tectonic activity like earthquakes and volcanoes with that Uranus and Taurus energy as well, y'all. So just brace, right? Brace ourselves. On the 19th, that's another powerful day that many astrologers and energy workers, psychics, clairvoyants, anyone in the esoteric, spiritual fields are going to be talking about that day, because Pluto is finally moving into Aquarius. It has been doing this dance between the final degree, that anaretic 29th degree of Capricorn. It's like a full moon energy, that 29th degree, culminations, wrap-ups. What do we need to make sure we learn from this cycle before we step forward into a new energy with that first degree of the new sign, right? So Pluto moving into Aquarius will happen on the 19th of November, and Pluto has been in Capricorn since 2008. Think back to what was going on in 2008. Pluto is about power, transformation, and it's with it in Capricorn, all connected to control and power with our governmental systems. Control and power with money, right? Our finances, all that is like Capricorn energy, top-down power. And that is changing and shifting. That Pluto energy of transformation and power is now moving into Aquarius. Community, humanity, justice, truth, power to the people. This is going to be a lateral redistribution of power that we are going to be, like this period that we're entering into. Now, Pluto will be in Aquarius until 2044. So this is only the beginning. Get out of our heads about these linear time frames that we work on, because we need to be thinking more in universal time frame. We need to open up our perception and understand that these shifts that are going to be happening are going to take a while, because these are collective shifts for humanity. And this is all new for us. Now, that's not to say we haven't had some similarities that we can look to in the past, because interestingly, the last time that Pluto was in Aquarius was during the time of the American Revolution and the French Revolution. So we can bring some of those themes, because Aquarius is a very revolutionary sign, also connected to like the really far out there. So we might even have a lot more disclosure with extraterrestrial, otherworldly, outer galactic life and things of that nature. We've already had a lot of that. If you do a little, it hasn't been heavily reported on the mainstream, but there's been interviews on like Daily Show did one. If you like the Daily Show, about a month ago with an author who wrote a book about disclosure It's just straight up like they're just letting it be known now. So all that shifting and changing is going to be happening for us during this period of Pluto in Aquarius in 2044. Through 2044, pardon me. So it's a long time, right? Which is why we're seeing a lot of upset right now, a lot of tumultuous energy, because an old power structure, that Pluto in Capricorn, is breaking down, and it always gets louder before the very last breath. So it's going to look like it gets a lot worse before it gets better, y'all. Let's wrap it up, y'all, with this astrology stuff. I'm sorry I've been yammering, but it is a big month. On the 21st of November, we have Sagittarius season beginning. And then on the 25th of November, right on the heels of that, Mercury goes retrograde in Sagittarius. So a perfect slowdown time with all these insane changes happening on the outer world around us. With Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, we have an opportunity to receive more inspiration and energy and insights for new creations, new ideas, right? This is not a time where we're going to have perfectly smooth travel. We might have hiccups and difficulty with technology. Be mindful about signing any contracts, y'all, because any sort of contracts that are signed or anything that's finalized, you might have to go back and recircle and redo it when Mercury is out of a retrograde cycle. Proofread and edit everything. Read it twice before you send it. Launching things is not recommended during a Mercury retrograde. This is the time to plan. Slow it down. You have permission to rest. Even though the world around you is demanding you don't. You have permission to rest. All right, Cancers? Okay. Cancer fam, let's get into your oracle reading. Sorry, I just got to move some stuff around. And then we'll get into your tarot for the month. So 2 decks called to me this month, Cancer. I have one of my favorites, the Shaman's Dream Oracle by Alberto Villoldo and Colette Baron-Reed. Love this deck. If y'all would ever like me to do any deck reads and reviews for you, please let me know. I'd be happy to. If you're ever interested in, like, think about buying a deck and you're maybe want to check it out before, happy to do that. Just let me know in the comments. I also was pulled to do a little bit of animal spirit guide messages. And this is one of my first decks that I ever got. I love it. Absolutely. By Stephen Farmer. Highly recommend. Highly recommend. So let's start with your animal spirit messages this month. You had 2 animals that have come to Cancer and you can meditate on and with this month. The first one is elk. Pull that back. I love these cards. So stand tall and maintain your dignity no matter what, and others will treat you with the respect that you deserve, Cancer. Yeah, absolutely. The other spirit guide from the animal kingdom that came to is coming to my Cancers this month, is there for you to call on whenever you need, is Spider. Spider's been there for me a lot too in the last couple of months. I love Spider Friend. So Spider's advice to Cancer is to trust the creative spark that you're feeling, Cancer, and express it through writing stories that inspire and enlighten. Yes. Spider is an incredibly creative energy as well, but deeply connected to spirit. So through creating, we can better connect with our spiritual sides and selves. All right. Beautiful messages. Let me there it is. Okay, sorry, I lost it. I have so many cards out. I was like, where is the Shaman's Dream card? Now, when I was pulling this card, I wanted to tap into the theme of your reading for the month of November. And the card that came up was number 56, the Wall, Obstacles. Don't start dreading and stepping into fear with me now. Let's work through this. Let's build some explanation on this wall that pops up. Because if we've hit a wall, right, there's a reason. So let's take a quick read of the wall, number 56, which in numerology adds up to number, well, you would add up until you get to a single digit. So 5 plus 6 is 11. 11, 1 plus 1 is 2. So, very interesting. Maybe y'all have been seeing some repeating number signs this month so far. So 56. Let's take a read for the Wall. Try and get that. There you go. Okay. So the Wall. There are moments in your life when you are so geared up, so sure that you are on track with such drive and momentum that you are shocked and confused when you encounter a wall. This unpredictability occurs outside your ability to plan, regardless of if you've done everything right in alignment with the divine. It's imperative that you change your attitude now. This temporary roadblock is not an obstacle to blast through. This is not an invitation to push harder, Cancer. Cancel other plans or worry about who will win or lose. This is a stopping point to enable you to slow down and contemplate the part of the manifesting equation that you and everyone else forgets. Yes. Life on life's terms will override your best laid plans. Yes, as inconvenient as it may seem, this experience is an important reminder that you are a human being, not a human doing. Perhaps you're being reminded of your mortality, or that you are but a small part of the bigger universe, where your destiny intersects with others. Your life may be meant to serve other purpose at this moment, and your attention meant to be directed elsewhere. Consider that this place of temporary non-action is exactly meant to be for you. Perhaps it's because all you desire and have set in motion needs time to coalesce and to form on the other side. Could it be that all the elements are not yet in place for its manifestation to be for the highest good of all? Think about that. Patience is required now, and the wisdom that this might be a great time to take a break and contemplate gratitude. What is truly yours will never be walled off from you. Solid wisdom, Cancer fam. Yeah, let me know how that resonates with you in the comments for sure. I'm really curious how that message hits for my Cancers, because it's definitely echoed here in the cards. So let's get into your reading. We're starting off with the Seven of Pentacles. Now, I'm using a new deck this month. This is one that I'm returning to after a long while. Very excited to get back with. But there's some differences and variations with the traditional Rider-Waite, and I'll make sure to point those out as we cross those bridges, y'all. So starting off with the Seven of Pentacles. All right. So this card I'm covering up. There's words on the bottom for a reason. Each deck is a little unique. This is, I know you're going to like hate this, but failure on the first card. Now, hold up. Don't freak out, Cancer. Don't freak out. You're like, the Wall, failure. So here you, okay, this is you coming into the month, all right? So what roadblocks have we hit? Here it is. It's just there. It's the Wall. It's the Wall. You've hit the wall. And some of y'all are thinking that you failed. Pause that thought. Put a pin in that thought right there. Let's expand on this. The Seven of Pentacles is also about pausing and waiting for your ships to come in, waiting for the fruits of your labor to grow. We live in a world, a 3D world around us that demands everything instantaneously. You have to respond to people instantaneously. You have to produce for people instantaneously. You have to perform for people no. That is not at all in line with the natural flow of the universe, and certainly not the natural flow of the earth, which is why all of us are struggling right now and seeking something different, something higher connections. We understand, I think, at our deepest core that there is more out there than consumer capitalism. Straight up. We're like, that can't be all that there is. That is so the Pentacles, material resources. So this is about, you've planted the seeds, let it grow. And the failure is coming because some of y'all are jumping the gun. And you're like, I failed, my seeds aren't growing. Well, guess what, boo? It's autumn if you're in the northern hemisphere. If you're in the southern hemisphere catching this video, it is spring. Give it time. Different seeds need different periods of gestation. Isn't that what the wall said? We can't expect instantaneous growth. The mango seed doesn't produce the tree in a day. It takes years before you get your first fruit. And that's what I'm saying, the twistedness that this consumer capitalism, like everything's rushed, everything's hurried. I mean, technology is great, but God, look where it's got us with like all this. We need everything now. We can wait. Just wait, Cancer. That is, I think, the overarching message for you this month. Because here, 3 of Wands. You're waiting for your fucking ships to come in. Virtue. You've put the energy out there. You're waiting to see what comes back, what grows for you. It's not a failure. Let me tell you something. I'll put it, I just thought of this, popped into my head. Like, as I'm building this channel, as I'm kind of starting off, right? Because it's relatively fresh still. You know, I'm within, on my YouTube, like under a year. My Instagram is like a year and a half that I've had Ms. Eden going. So I'm excited for where I can take this. And there is growth that I'm noticing in the long term when I look back, you know, at longer patterns over the course of months as opposed to days or weeks. But there are days when I'm just like so ready to give up because I'm like, oh, I'm not getting any followers or subscribers. Oh, I'm not getting many views on this. Why am I bothering to put my energy into recording all this work and doing all this when I'm not well, that's not, I have to remind myself that productivity, like I'm getting something for something. I mean, what I'm getting for this is joy first and foremost. That's why I did it in the first place. The following, the messages that reach others is a bonus. If I'm able to monetize off this at some point in my life, it's a bonus. But the reason I want to lead with doing this is because I'm passionate about it and I love it. I love being connected to spirit. I love diving into the mysteries of life. Love it, absolutely. So there are days when I'm just like, oh, I failed. Right? Like I'm putting it out there. I'm doing the things. I'm using the hashtags. I'm posting every day or trying like almost every day, you know, depending on which platform and whatever. Like, and I'm not seeing the gains that I want to see. Well, boo, that's because shit don't happen overnight. I understand now. And especially when I go back and I look at like 90-day progress versus 7-day progress. Well, my 90-day progress trend lines look a lot better. Overall trending upward than if I looked at my 7-day, which are just like down, right? Maybe some weeks. It just looks like a down drop on the graph. So that's what this is meaning. Like that's what the energy of coming into the month is. And boom, star, rest, restore, balance, connect with spirit. I love this version of the star. Beautiful cards. I love this deck. But yeah, this is a calling for my Cancers that if you feel that you've hit that wall coming into November, if that new moon rocked you, if the 3rd with all that Mars energy rocked you, if a lot is coming up internally, take a breather, take a rest. You've planted the seeds. You've sent your ships out. Okay? Now it's the waiting game. And while you're waiting, restore yourself because you're going to be seen. That hard work is coming back. Just don't give up on yourself. Believe in yourself. Don't forget your guides this month. All right. And yeah, with this, strength is going to be required. In this deck, it is called the Lust card, but this is strength. Okay, strength through compassion, strength through tenderness. You're not sourcing strength through aggression any longer. None of us. That's not where we're building our strength from. It's through community. It's through connection. It's through focusing inward in our own world as opposed to tuning in and watching the outward news all the time, 24/7. It is draining. But when we focus back inward on ourselves, when we focus on the creativity and that inner spark within and find that strength, that can get us through another day of all the chaos in the outward world. There it is. That's the strength you need to pull from this month because there are going to be energetic challenges for you. Absolutely. And some of it's going to be you doing it to yourself and draining your own energy, Cancer, for some of my family. So be careful of that. Also, very interesting, this Seven of Wands energy has Mars in Leo. So what happened on the 3rd for some of my Cancers? Did you have to defend yourself around the 3rd of November or the days surrounding? You must have had the higher ground, though, because this is about valor, right? This is about succeeding in defending your energy, holding your ground. You got the Lotus, you got the Phoenix, you got the Caduceus with Horus and the Sun on it. But so interesting, that's why I love these cards, is that it's Mars and Leo. So I'm automatically like, oh yeah, what was happening around the 3rd? Because that's when Mars went into Leo. A lot of us maybe felt very defensive, like we had to protect ourselves, right? Around that time period, especially if you're in the US. Goodness. Intuition and spirit, High Priestess energy is present and available for you. It is asking you in that quiet stillness and space of restoration to tap into that darkness beyond the veil. Dive deep within, beautiful Cancer. You can do it. You're a water sign. You can do it. Okay, I know you got that soft, squishy inside, but you got a nice hard shell. You got those pincers, right? You strong. So don't be scared of the darkness, because that is where creation happens. Think of the sacred womb. That is where creation happens before it ever hits the light. Think of how seeds sprout. That business happens underground in the darkness before it ever bursts through to the light. So there is power in darkness. There is power in your intuition. Spirit has a lot of messages for you, and you need to, again, slow down, rest, lean into your creative side, like Spider said, in order to access those messages and that connection to spirit this month. Because judgment, this is the Eon in this deck, but judgment, brand new beginnings. This is a wake up, a rebirth for you, Cancer. A lot of us are waking up from the matrix, quote unquote. It's just we're clamoring for more, deeper. And we're understanding that connection and community and love and light is where we're finding that sense of home and balance and peace, contentment. We're not finding it in the material realm anymore, in that ego-driven control. We're willing to let go of control, trust the universe, let it guide our car a little bit, right? Take the wheel. This is also forgiving yourself for everything bad and good that's happened in the past to bring you to where you are today. A complete rebirth. Fresh eyes. It's like the sun energy. You are protected by spirit as you go through this rebirth process. And when you come out of it, when you learn what you need to learn, step forward with confidence on this new path, Cancer. There is nothing you can't accomplish with this Emperor card. This is the card of Aries. So what kingdom do you want to create? You're already working on it. You're already working on it. But now, again, like any person who's building a kingdom, there are moments of action and there are moments of pause and waiting. Maybe you're building a castle, you're waiting on supplies. Can't make that get here any faster from the quarry. Just got to wait till they quarry it out, right? You also need to take the stillness so that you know how to lead this new world that you're creating with love, with light, with compassion. How do you want to lead it? Because you're in charge, boo. Make sure that you're operating from that connection with the higher self and not the lower ego self with this Emperor card. And it all comes down to the choices you make. Isn't that the truth? This is like Spirit is divinely guiding my Cancers this month. It's very important that you take the time and, again, stillness. Find places where you can restore and meditate to gain clarity on which path, which choice you'd like to move forward on when it's go time. Because it's not go time right now. You have a lot of unknowns with this moon card. It's the card of Pisces. You were in unfamiliar territory, but notice that in the traditional Rider-Waite deck, the columns in the moon card are actually the same columns that are in the High Priestess. It's like what is beyond the High Priestess. Like you've walked that path into the darkness, into the intuition, and it's fucking scary. It's triggering all your primal fears, instincts, right? But you need to keep pushing through and understanding that this is the path to enlightenment. It's not easy. It's dark. But trust yourself. Okay? Because it's not going to stay dark forever. It's going to ultimately lead to you being this, it's Knight of Pentacles in this deck, or Knight of Coins, but this is the King of Pentacles. Again, that Emperor energy. You will be able to sit in your garden and appreciate all the abundance that you have created and worked so hard for. This is about slow and steady wins the race, Cancer. And there's the Empress. You create empires through the heart space, through stillness, through love. You got both of them. This is intuition through the heart, intuition through the mind. Empress and High Priestess, respectively. All about creating new worlds, Cancer. Whew, whew. Shit, powerful. The only thing that can hold you back is yourself with the 9 of Swords. You don't have to take on everyone else's problems thinking that they're your own to carry on your shoulders. Don't drain your mental energy. You are supposed to be using this time to fill your mental, emotional, spiritual, physical cups. And if you're too focused on everyone else's problems, on solving everything in order to try and get through that wall, bust through so you can get things moving, well, guess what? You're going to have to hold on pretty tightly to your resources. Yeah. You're going to have to be very thoughtful with how you spend your resources because you're trying to go do too much, not at the right time. So there's consequences for that. Mental strain, anxiety, sleepless nights, strain on resources, right? But ultimately, the guidance from the universe is to lean into those that you are closest with, that you trust, that judgment-free zone, that tightest of tight BFF, coven type community, 3 of Cups, abundance. You will find abundance and emotional fulfillment in that community this month, Cancer. Let them help you. Tap out of you've done the hard work. You can play a little bit. Allow yourself to play this month, beautiful Cancer. It is going to be so important for you. And it's going to bring you to a greater sense of home. Bottom of the deck, 4 of Wands, completion. Yeah. So you're going to find home in your community this month. Okay? And if you take that stillness, if you allow yourself to connect with spirit, you will know exactly how to break through that wall and when. Much love for November, Cancer family.